Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to Counselor's Couch 101. I'm Jim Stump, and as usual, I'm saying, hey, we can always use some help out here. If any counselors out there would like to get involved with helping people with advice and direction and suggestions, we'd love to have you come on board. Send me an email, and we'll hook up somehow. And when issues come up, I'll present them to a group. We'll get some feedback, and we'll present it to the public. So the email for this YouTube show is counselorscouch101 at mail.com. All lowercase, no spaces, no apostrophe. Counselorscouch101 at mail.com. You can also leave comments down below. But if you're going to sign up, or if you want to leave an idea or a problem or a situation you'd like to share, please let me know whether or not I can use your name. As a rule, I tend not to want to do that, but sometimes, people say, "Hey, I'm Tom from Tacoma," or something like that. If you'd like that kind of an acknowledgement, please put it in the message. Otherwise, we tend not to refer to who sent the idea over or the request. But we can always use some help. So if any counselors out there want to get involved in what we're trying to do here, please contact me and we'll put it together. Now, one of the questions that comes up often, people say, "Hey, it's really great to know about this stuff, Jim. I really appreciate all the information you gave me. It helped me a lot. But the thing is, what do I do about it? How do I cure this stuff?" And I say, well, oftentimes we don't cure negative things. We just sort of dial down their impact, right? We want to take it from a 90 down to something like a 15, where it's doable. We can live with it, and it doesn't overwhelm us, and it doesn't direct our every decision and our every thought. And it's long been said that the best thing you can do for kind of emotional conditions or situations or unhappiness. Now, hear me out. Don't despair yet. They say the best thing people can do is yoga. Now, I stopped and I thought about that. I don't do yoga. I think it'd be a great thing to do, but it doesn't happen to sit with me. I don't seem to get it done. But I thought about it and I say, okay, why would yoga help somebody over a bad mood or a depressive episode or an argument with someone else? And I thought to myself, well, maybe it's because it takes a lot of concentration to get into those positions. I don't know what they call them, postures or something. It takes a lot of concentration to do that. And if you're thinking about that and concentrating very deeply on something that's very, very difficult, that means you're not thinking of something negative. Your mind is not empty. It is not an empty mind is a terrible thing to waste and all that. It's none of that. It's filled with a goal, a destination, which is to make this particular hard position, right? You're thinking of that, and you forgot all about your troubles. You forgot about the things that were bothering you. And it's also good to exercise, I'm told. Now, like I say, I don't particularly do yoga. I think it'd be great if you want to do it, go for it. I think it'll help you out a lot. But if we can't do that, there are other things in the same vein that could help that aren't quite as strenuous or difficult as yoga. And that might be something like Tai Chi or Qi Gong. Any of those martial arts motion exercises, usually the slow ones are really good because they calm the body down. It sort of like puts you in a place of ease, a place of rest, a place where everything feels good. And it's motion and it's exercise. So it's a very good thing to do. And once again, because you're concentrating on that particular maneuver, you're not thinking about your problems, right? And I think that's the part that really helps people the most, is to find a way to turn our mind off from the negative thinking. Some people call it distraction. Now, going in a different direction, sometimes I suggest to people, what do you like to do? And I say, distraction can be as different as there are people who are looking for means and ways to distract themselves. I know one lady I talked to said that she liked the really hard Sudoku. She said, if I do that, I forget about my problems. So if she has a moment or two, she'll flip open a Sudoku on her cell phone and she'll work through it. And she can do the real hard ones. So God bless her for that. I couldn't do the easy ones. That helps. Other people say, one lady told me that she does these paint things. You buy these canvases. It's sort of like the old paint by number, but it's canvas and you use oil. And she showed me some of her products, and they were very, very well done. They looked like professional paintings. They didn't look like paint by number. And she said I would get lost in that for an hour or two. And when I got done with the work, never finished it at one time. But when she got done with her work for the day, she was in a better place. She felt a lot better. Most often, people say they like to do something physical. They like to go to the gym and lift a lot of iron, or they get on those treadmill things or any of the exercise machines, things like that. Something physical can calm people down. And a universal one that seems to work for everyone is walking, jogging, or running, depending on who or what you are, especially if you can get out in like a park or along a beach and breathe fresh air, get your body moving, and we sort of forget about our problems. We get into a good space, so to speak. Another gentleman told me that bicycling did it for him. He'd get his bicycle and go on a bike path near his house, and that would calm him down. Other activities that calm people down, really big one is dancing. Any kind of dancing. It could be salsa dancing, it could be tango. People tell me they do those. Those are difficult. It could be ballroom, it could be swing, it could be rock and roll, it could be anything. Dancing seems to calm people down as well. Also, singing. People say I don't sing well. I say, well, that's not the point. It's not the point of whether or not you do it well. The point is we're here to get over a bad feeling. We're here to get over a bad moment of depression or anxiety. And that's the point. That's the purpose. We're not trying to do a concert at Carnegie Hall, right? We're just trying to let it out. Other people like to play sports. If you can get a team together and play baseball or even basketball, things like that, they can be doable, but they require other people. So what we're looking for is anything that you enjoy that's going to take your mind out of a negative spot. Sometimes people tell me they watch videos. Who knows? Maybe they watch homesteading off the grid there, right? That takes their mind off stuff. If they just get lost in that little adventure there, that journey on that property, it's only a few minutes long. It puts them in a good place, and it works for them, is what they say, right? So there's all sorts of things you can do. They don't cost money. They don't have to take a lot of time. It can be really, really simple. One gentleman said he had absolutely no physical place where he could exercise and etc. And he didn't have the time. It was too far distant to get to a bike path or to the beach or something like that. So what he found he could do was he'd walk up and down the stairs at his apartment building. That seemed to work. It would calm him down. Physical motion, and brought his breathing up a little bit, and it would calm him down to get that sort of heart pumping sensation when your body is active. So oftentimes we're either trying to do something that takes our mind off it, or we are trying to distract ourselves. A really old idea for people that had anxiety or depression or so forth, they used to wear a rubber band around their wrist. And whenever they were feeling bad, they would snap that rubber band, right? And that would remind them to get their mind off that negative thought. And it's a question of if we can't get the negative thought to die completely, what we want to do is sort of like push it to the side so it's not getting the major focus of what we're thinking about, right? And sometimes we just think of it, close your eyes, think of the thoughts, say, just push it aside, whatever it is, say the counter to it, No, I'm not a loser. I'm doing fine. I'm doing the best I can. That kind of thinking to offset negative thinking can help folks as well. So, but the easiest and the least expensive and the least amount of time it takes for people to calm down are things like walking, running, jogging, and singing. Go outside, shout at the moon if you want to. Sing, dance. Dancing's great. Nobody has to see you. You're not dancing for an audience. You're not singing for anyone. You're doing it to overcome that negative moment, and that's the entire point. I tell people that you're not there to practice to be a singer. You're there to release that stuff. So focus on it that way. They say you can't be angry if you're laughing. Remember that. It's really, really true. I remember I had a dear friend of mine. She was like that second mother, you grow up with. I really love this woman. And she was always happy and always generous and always jovial and always generous with everybody. I only saw her in a bad mood one time, only once. And I knew her for years and years and years. Only one time I saw her in a bad mood. And we were in a back room that they used to use for like a music room. people would come over, bring their guitars. They'd sit around this little room at the back of the house, and they'd play acoustic guitars and sing folk songs and this and that and the other thing. Really, that's a great way to calm down and get in a better mood. But we were in that room, and she was sitting over on the other side, and I was on this side, and I could see she was in a really bad mood, and she was saying things that of a negative nature. She wasn't cursing or anything. She wasn't vulgar, but I could tell she was really in a down mood. And I sort of stood up and I walked over to her, kind of hunched over, and I got really close to her face, and I said, "Are you in there?" She burst out laughing so loud, and then she got mad at me. She said, "Don't make me mad. I don't make me laugh. I want to stay mad." So, but it worked. You can't be mad when you're laughing, and you can't be depressed when you're grateful. So one of the things we want to do is remember all the good stuff when you're feeling like you're in a depressed state and everything's going wrong. Remember all the good stuff. Take a walk, sing, shout at the moon, do something physical, do a distraction exercise. Another person I know did crossword puzzles, the simple ones. He just pull open a book and just start filling it out because it distracted him long enough that he could get rid of that negative thought and get back to concentrating on what he wanted to accomplish that day. This stuff, it doesn't work all the time, and it certainly doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for a lot of people a lot of the time. So look for these distracting things, these physical things, the things that'll take your mind off of that negative thought you're contending with at the moment. Just try some of them, right? And find the ones that work for you and remember them when you need them. So there's some thoughts. They don't work for everybody all the time, but they do work for a lot of people a lot of the time. Go outside, breathe the air, walk, jog, shout at the moon, sing, dance. It works. Thanks for coming. Talk with you next time.